What's good, YouTube? It's Mary Boy Squid again with another replay video. Back on the replay grind. I didn't play Master Duel for a bit, but I started playing again the other day. So yeah, I'm trying to remember what this match was. I think, oh, it's a Phantom Knight deck. Opponent, once die roll goes first, I'm fairly certain he... I don't know what... It's interesting he still plays this. I guess you have to because they don't have like the new Brave stuff that we do in TCG. So obviously he ditches a Fog Blade, which is pretty good. Free level 3 extender. This card didn't really matter. He used the effect, sends Ancient Cloak to dump a Boots from deck, so he's got filled loaded graveyard. Cherubini gonna sand the Graph. They still have to play Graph and serve, just because like free adventure token, you still need like a bunch of extenders to do your plays. But it's weird he didn't. I think he misplayed. He didn't see that he drew Graph or Seer. So he dumped Graph instead of dumping another like Phantom Knight, like the Ragged Gloves. I'm trying to think, like, I don't know why he would... Oh, okay, yeah, never mind. You have to summon Seer here because it would get popped, but Cherubini, because being a Burning Abyss and also the effect Protect, allows him to summon it. So our hand's pretty good. Have double hand trap. I could technically wait until his entire play is over to Nib plus Imperm. But let's see, I can't remember what I did here. So he's gonna trigger the effect of his guy banishing to add a guy, and then he'll special summon back Thornscale. So right there I decided Nib. I mean, I could have waited, but typically they end up, if you let them do full combo, they end with like Levier, so they summon back whatever, and they ended up with a loaded graveyard. So I felt like that position was the best spot to Nib, just because he already used Sir, because it's only one effect per turn. He already summoned from hand. He can't use the Reborn effect, and Torn Scales would have been banished there because it was summoned off its own effect, but if he overlays with it, then it would just go to grave, right? So right there is the highest impact, I figured, because he didn't have anything in grave. Like, literally, it put nothing in grave. That was just like a clean board wipe. So obviously he still has the Boots plus the Trap in grave, so he still has plays plus this. If Phoenix Enforcer was in this game, then he could obviously make a Link Spider and then make Verte in combo off as well, but because it's not, I don't think this deck is very good at all, just because you don't have any of the new cards, and you don't have, like, max season in the game, so it's just like, yeah, it's bad. He's gonna summon out this guy, I forgot this guy's name, but this guy that special summons from hand, then you can banish it to special summon another Phantom from your hand. Makes Levier anyways, just gonna go for the play. Obviously my Imperm's dead. The only thing about that play that kind of sucked was that the Imperm's kind of dead. So it's like, I just kind of have to hold him in hand and hope that he pops a Nib so it's live for next turn, or just like use it as a defensive option next turn for the following turn. He's gonna add the Fog Blade, and I think his plays are all actually numbered. I can't see what he can really do here. So yeah, he just passes it. Without like Verte or any of the combo, like your board is just not good at all. So he sets, obviously one of them is the Fog Blade. So yeah, my hand is like just nuts. Like, this game is pretty much guaranteed unlosable as long as you play correctly. Here I decide to activate the multi-roll before playing Airspace. Sometimes you want to do this after, just because you don't want to give them as much information. Like, you want to give as little information as possible. But I figured if this goes through, I could dump like a use Hayate to dump Widow Anchor and then set it off the one card that I activated to use with multi-roll in the end phase. So that's why I did that. Obviously, we're going to do the typical play where you go Airspace on Ray and then Ray chain the effect Tribute. Because Airspace doesn't have to send this target to the graveyard, it excavates, it just has to target anything. This is a valid play, so we basically get a free excavate, free +1 if you nail a Sky Striker name. Summon Hayate, so it doesn't have Called by the Grave, which is nice. Like, this was already playing around Called by the Grave because I could just send this to summon another Ray. Reveal Afterburners, Widow Anchor, and another multi-roll are all really good. I take the Anchor here. In hindsight, I could have taken the Afterburners just because I'm not guaranteed to like blow up both his monsters here. Like, if he had a wing, which I think he actually does, he gets to keep a monster, and it's kind of tricky for me to get rid of. So maybe I should have just taken Afterburners there, knowing that I could have either Shizu'd end phase for a Widow Anchor or Hayate dump, depending on what he wanted to Fog Blade. But he does have wing, actually, so he uses it on Levier. Levier survives, and because this guy's so big, I can't do anything here. So this is what I meant by actually maybe adding the burner just to have a safety option. But I end up doing this play, which it's still alright. Then puts us in a good position. We get the double Widow Anchor set plus Imperm in the end phase and Droplet. So Just gonna kinda, or rather Zeke away that monster just because it's a basically a 2-for-1. It's a monster on board, and then in the graveyard it has another effect, right? So I thought it was better than doing this. Also, this would have put that in grave. I mean, I guess he would have detached, but I don't know. I think probably getting rid of one of the names so he can't search Torn Scales and just like Snowball is better. He Fog Blade's there. I think I went to Kagari just now just because I felt like, well, I could just burn his Fog Blade anyways and get the Shizu to add engage in the end phase. But he actually let that through. I don't think that's a good play on his part because this is just stuck now. Like, if he used that on Kagari, it would have just went in the grave when I linked off with it. But because he didn't, that's just stuck on the field. So he has to kill this in order to get that in the graveyard. But that would allow me to bring back a Ray, so it's not great for him. So I just go set 4 pass. Now he's kind of in like a tough spot. He has to top deck something good here because he hasn't like just wing in graveyard. Obviously, if we added afterburns, we could have popped that, which would have put us in much better shape. Here we have to like take a -1 to use the anchor, which like it's good, but the fact is he still keeps the monster, which is not ideal. And because it's an XYZ, he can still make either Zeus or like Utopic Draco Future if he plays that. So yeah, probably a misstep on my part. I think last turn on there. He's gonna use wings right away. Summon this back. I mean, I could have just zeked that away as well, but I think it wouldn't have made too big of a difference because the cloak was also allowed him to search Torn Scales, which I think might have been worse. So yeah, here goes Levier. It's kind of awkward for me. Like, you see what I mean? Like, I have to negate this, and then he can make Draco Future. So it's just like, it's not great. Should have just added the Afterburner, but it's all right. I still don't think I can lose here because I have like a million interrupts, have Raid in the graveyard. He can't kill me as long as we live. Like, we're in a good shape, right? Because Roll's live as well, and yeah, I just he can't really do much. Like, the ceiling of this deck is just not high. Of the Phantom Knight deck, it's not high without like Phoenix Enforcer and the new cards and the Adventure token, which is like insane. So yeah, he goes into the future card, which is, it doesn't matter. He's gonna attack, and I'm just like, yeah, I'll just Widow Anchor and ambush probably to use Ray in the graveyard if he does. But he actually has more plays. He sends a uses Rag Gloves that he top decks to send Cloak and then add this guy. I'm not sure why they would play that. Is there any reason to actually play that card if Verte Anaconda and Phoenix Enforcer aren't a thing? Anyways, I decided to drop it in damage steps and in the field spell just so I can keep this because it might be better to use to steal a monster on the following turn. I don't know why I tried to activate. I negated this, obviously. You can use Ray. End phase is going to get a Shiz Search to add Engage, which is pretty insane because he doesn't really have anything else. We know what he has. That's really random. I guess he only plays 2 Fog Blades because there are only 2 banished, right? No, there's only 1. I don't know why. Oh yeah, there's 2. So yeah, that's probably why I didn't search another Fog Blade. So yeah, we engage and game's pretty much over. I'm fairly certain I just go for game next turn because engage is just so broken. And he does have a Link 2 in the graveyard, so it's easy to make access code like the hard way, just like linking off instead of using the Hulk play. So something to be heads up about. Shark Cannon does, like, you can do some cool things with it. You can even summon back Verte Anaconda when that comes out and like send Fusion Destiny because he doesn't think of the effects, so it's kind of nuts. So yeah, that's what we do. We summon that back, and we're actually going to chain this, I think, to steal one of his monsters just to push for game. We know his back row is something irrelevant, obviously, so we have a Link 1 plus the Link 2, that's Link 3. And then, because we have a normal summon, this Maxi should actually be the Link 4 to make access code. But we can also make Ningirsu here to make Link 3, so the access code goes to 5300 instead of 43. Because obviously it copies the link that it sends to graveyard, so the link rating. So yeah, that's why we need the 3. Just going to summon Maxi here, and that should be game. 53 plus 3k, that's 8300. Task is 58, and then we also have a couple of pops. I think enough to get rid of these 3, which is what matters. And yeah, because I impermed earlier in this turn, actually, set imperm that I flipped, and negated the Fog Blade, so it doesn't go to the graveyard, so he can't like make an interrupt, like chump block in the battle phase by banishing this to survive. So yeah, the imperm was really clutch as well. Yeah, this is just game. Just pop his board and attack for game. So that's really about it. And yeah, if you guys like the video, definitely subscribe, comment, and leave a like. And yeah, I'll definitely be making some more. Deuces.